of the vessel, I'm the one that's gotta seal it. My energy can't move like I got shackles on my spirit. Yes, I heard the news, they speaking on me, I can't hear it. Don't get it confused, you cannot choose who gon' be cheering.
Welcome back to the channel, Kimyo Space Cadets. It's the leader of the Cosmic Armada, Wolf Nara, back to bring you another Ordeal Webtoon review. This is one of the saddest episodes to date, with the death of Louise that has been foreshadowed since episode 19 of the series. I was wrong with Louis surviving, which makes the episode that much more amazing to me. But before we get into that, let's break down the title of the episode. The title of the episode is The Last Shall Be the First. We see Louis at his limit, giving all he has in the picture representing the episode in one image, solidifying his death before you even read it. The title is to represent Louis, but not only that, it also represents the decisions that he made up until this point as a man to get here. We see back in season 1 when Shay asked Yukiko what will her reward be for getting A's on her exam. She only wants to see the other cubs, going to show how high she puts the cubs before even becoming a Kimyo. When Louis is selected to go on a mission to capture oil rigs in episode 118 titled The Wolf Cub, he makes a statement of not being separated from both Yukiko and Azam at the same time. Although he has his own family and obligation, he never chose to put his family or pack above the other, balancing being a clan head and a member of Leo Wolf. Being the last to arrive at Red Ember Gem as the position of clan head, he already had the protective nature, because being so young made him want to protect them as well. At 17, he was taught by Leo to fuse with his talent, being taught by Leo to endure pain, not only pass on temporary invulnerability to the next person to inherit ashes of the father, but also to endure pain to protect the pack when they need it the most. Back in episode 135, Leo has a key statement in the following reflecting the role of Louis even further, stating, "You already know the way, son. Now is the time to fully step into this state. The eldest of the pack isn't always its leader, but its wisdom and guidance. By doing this, they too will push past what they thought to be their limit. The first shall be the last, and the last shall be the first." Taking into account his sacrifice and the bonds he held with the wolf cubs, his death will be used as the catalyst to create an even stronger wolf pack. His position was not to defend them, but to push the wolves to become greater than what they were. They have grown complacent, and in order to survive, they may have to become someone or something greater. One time we see this happen is in the Can Santiago fight, where Azam cannot run on a non-solid surface as we see Louis can. He still does not take an active role in regards to offense versus Cass, but sets Azam up to get more experience in battle. We even see how the Cubs look up to Louis in season 1 during the talent showcase, thus giving us credence to what Leo said when he stated, "The way in which your end comes will determine how they live." Tevin, being the one to follow Leo's teaching the closest, will only use his brother's sacrifice to become the tank of the younger generation, propelling him to God tier. Anton up until this point has always been passive due to him being a leader in K.O.D.E, but unable to see such a tragic event coming. Anton will don a more active role, showing us the political power at his disposal. His learning to become a leader is the only thing we need to complete his character. Now, Azam had front row seats, and we will save that discussion for the next review. Shay throws himself wholeheartedly into his mission on hunting Val and Thanatos. Shay had not grown stagnant in power, but in his mental state, second guessing himself, as we see back in episode 26 and also episode 117. This mental blockage is holding Shay back in his training. From our perspective, he is stronger than ever, but based off what Jose said, he made an analysis that he fights like someone without a talent, going to show that even though he has fully accepted his role in season 1, the hardships of the role in season 2, and now the metamorphosis of that role in season 3. Now, the last being the first is a literal statement that takes into account all of Louis' past decisions in order to create the future of the Cubs based on Louis' sacrifice. One of the best episode titles we got to date. With the title broken down, let's move on to the next thing I want to discuss. Val is shown flying back as Louis explains his newfound ability further, saying that his talent is attached to itself to Val's cells. Due to his body not being able to absorb his cell, there's no way out. We see the artistic representation of this pain spreading around the area of the womb. These veins are similar to Louis when he is using his talent. As Val begins to shift due to the anger of being wounded, Louis gathers the last of his ash, telling Val to get over himself. Now, Val has 2 permanent wounds in the series. The first is from Sabito Heart, in which if we take a look at the wound, it is a bit discolored. With advanced healing and the blood talent, a wound from a sword slash should heal. And back in season 2, he was injured by Yorn. This injury was a stab to the side, in which we don't see that scar on Vael's side anymore, meaning the initial wound that we seen back in season 1 where he shows how Sabito scarred him could be used from black ice, going to show the potency of ice-based abilities between normal ice and black ice. Black ice could have potentially damaged the cell and frozen that area, causing the heal over time effect that Vael has to heal a lot slower compared to his other wounds. Now, Lewis attacks won't leave a huge mark, but the damage to Vael's cells will be immense. We conclude that it is also spreading as well, since he is hit in the stomach and we see the veins spread to the back of his arm. We then get Vael's transforming through his rage, seeing a hint of his talent partially released during the Grinning War. In this state, he didn't don such features, granted his body still morphed. In this case, this could mean that Vael has one more transformation that we have yet to see. If we take a look at the heavy biblical implications in Ordeal, Mahalel is considered the archangel, so taking a look at the wings, it reminds me of Lucifer after his fall and his beauty is stripped from him, which is also what happened to the angels that followed Lucifer. Maybe it is a hint to Vael's true form, since we do also have him turning away from the Bible to seek monetary gain, as I said in episode 140 review. As Vael and Lewis clash, Dothanil picks up his blade and stabs Lewis through the back. As Lewis' last construct fades while howling at the moon, Lewis begins to stare at the moon, as it symbolically represents the hole left in Shay's heart from his death, rather than the declaration of war Shay had thought it would be. As Azam pleads for K.O.D.E to activate itself as if he would burn his life away in order to serve Lewis, as Vael runs his blade through Lewis and then falls to one knee, going to show the toll the battle had on Vael, as Ngameki acknowledges the heart of a fallen wolf and drops the dome in an instant. Now, there are a ton of things I love about this section of the episode. The color palette representing the new dawn. We know that Shay was the son that Lewis has spoke of rather than surviving until the dawn, as he did say he will be able to hold out at least that long. We see Vael having foreknowledge of Lewis' talent due to a prior battle, which would be a great way to expand the Hemlock clan's history. Now, this foreknowledge will lead him to knowing the blind side of the talent, but due to the uniqueness of the ashes of the father, we see Vael go from being on the defensive end in the beginning of the battle, while slowly gaining momentum throughout the fight. Vael is really quick to anger when things don't go his way, and it is every time he would have dealt a fatal blow to Lewis, he would be countered by Lewis' vulnerability. Once he discovered that Lewis was inexperienced with his own technique, he continued to expose the gaps in Lewis' knowledge, leading to his ultimate victory. Now, let's continue on with the next part of the episode. As Shay sees Lewis on his knees while Tevin rushes forward, Azam calls Shay with dire urgency. The wolf knows Dothanil, and if Shay was to track Lewis' chi seeping out of Vael, he would fall in the shadow. As Shay sniffs and immediately rushes to Vael, who appeared on two twin buildings. Now, these buildings are called the Eric Williams Financial Complex, also known as the Twin Towers. It is located to the south of Brian Lara Promenade in downtown Port of Spain, Trinidad, which means that Shay traveled approximately 750 meters per Google Map, which is approximately 0.46 of a mile in a matter of seconds. As Shay is rushing over to Vael, is riddled with pain, as K.O.D.E said Lewis had doomed them all. Could this be due to an iron grip, or is it due to the fragility of Vael's mental state? K.O.D.E said that he can remove the arrow, but the fact it did not disappear showed that Lewis is still alive. As the ash continues to spread throughout Vael's cells, Shay and Lord Abijah appears, attempt to strike Vael, and K.O.D.E inches away from next to their enemy. K.O.D.E touches Vael, invading death by mere centimeters. Only able to grunt and rage, Shay returns to the side of Lewis. By Lewis' side, Reed begs to get a chi hitter so they can provide chi to Lewis in order for his natural Kimyo healing to keep him alive and slowly repair the damage left by Vael. As this is taking place, Shay comes crashing down next to his older brother as Lewis remarks the flames are warm, thanking Shay. As his last words are, "Listen, my friend, they look up to you. If you fall, you take their foundation with, but even still, the burden is not yours alone to carry. Promise me, you have shared the load. Shay, promise me. As for the shadow, he cannot run. The mark of my father, I placed my chi in him. He'll never get rid of it. Should make him easy to find. My only regret is not being around to see you all grow." As Shay rage over spills, exploded with such ferocity that the surrounding area is engulfed in flames. As we shift to Elon Jr., now inheriting the talent of his cousin, ending this episode of Ordeal. Now, Lewis' last word parallels Andrea's words when speaking with Jaime and manifests a bias in conversation with Shay as well. Shay has never listened when it came to advice from his peers and will continue with this characteristic. He will continue to shoulder the burden and when he decides to share it in order to protect the Cubs. He would share it with the group of people we see in episode 113. This may be due to the moral impasse that the Cubs and Shay may see, just like we see in this episode. Shay's in a rush to stop the shadow, reflecting the dialogue of future Tevin back in episode 113, saying he cannot fathom why Shay cannot take his time. Anyway, this is all I got for this review of episode 143. I kept things relatively short because, you know, I want to have at least some time to be able to get this video out. I had got admin corruption on my computer, so I had to basically delete every single thing, all programs, and I did not back anything up to the cloud. So I literally had to re-record this video, even though I was mostly done with the editing. But hey, it is what it is. Like, comment, subscribe, tell a friend to tell a friend. It's the leader of the Cosmic Armada. See you, Space Cadets.